Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more pattern testing here. We got another really interesting load to throw down there on the targets today. But first off, since this is a little bit new of a series for the channel, we're going to go over real quick how this is going to work. First up, we're going to shoot 3 rounds through the chronograph that I have set up over here and get our speed. Next up, we've got 3 targets set up right over here behind me. We're going to shoot one at 20, one at 30, and one at 40 yards. Then I'm going to go down there and draw 10 and 30-inch circles down there on the paper. We're going to count the pellets and so on. So that way we can see our pellet count, our pattern density, and all of that other information. So today's load is a little bit of an interesting one that I don't have any experience with. I've seen them on the shelf before. I've heard some stuff about them, but that's about the extent of it. That load being the Bioammo Lux Lead 12 gauge loads. These are 12 gauge 2 3/4, 1 1/8 ounce of 7-shot, going 13-12, so they say. But we're going to test that and see how close we get to that actual velocity. Now, from the little bit of information that I do know about those shells, they supposedly have a biodegradable wad, which is better for the environment if you're taking them out and doing upland hunting or small game hunting or whatever the case might be. So I'm really interested to see if they pattern really well, since it's a little bit new design on those shells, or if it's kind of a gimmicky design, not necessarily because it's better for the environment, but will this different wad throw a terrible pattern or a really good pattern? I don't know. We'll just have to see what they can do. But as for the setup we're going to be running them out of, we've got the Remington 1187 Premier again, and we're sticking with our baseline testing here. So we've got the stock modified choke in the gun, which is a 707 constriction. So let's head over to the chronograph, run 3 shells, and see if we can get an average and see how close it is to the actual box velocity to start out with here. Alright, round number 1, 1386. Round number 2, 1396. And round number 3, 1381. So we actually exceeded the box velocity of 1312, which is interesting. Alright, we're all set up back here at 20 yards, so let's shoot the first one and see what we can get. Alright, we're set up back at 30 yards now, so let's shoot the 30-yard target. Alright, we're back at 40 yards now, so let's shoot the 40-yard target and see what we get. Alright, so this is what we got at 20 yards out of those Bioammo 7-shot shells. Hopefully you guys can see with the weird shadows we got. We've got 161 pellets in our 10-inch circle there, and 159 in our 30-inch roughly circle. Now yes, my circle skills have not gotten any better since the last video, but I need to get a template drawn up to where I can just trace it out and be done with it. But we did get the wad that hit right here, so that could be another pellet or 2 in there, we don't know. But all in all, I think we only have 1 pellet right over here that's outside of this 30-inch circle on this target here. Definitely not a bad start anyway. Alright, so here's what we got in our 30-yard pattern. Now we definitely start to see this pattern open up quite a bit here. We got 37 in our 10-inch circle here, and 181 in our roughly 30-inch circle here. Now, maybe I could have scooted that circle down to the left an inch or so, and it might have been just a few pellets difference, but either way, I still think we can see what we want to see here. But we definitely started to open up. We definitely started to see these voids in the paper here. I still don't think there's very much there that a dove can scoot through, unless you get all the way out to the very edge here. But I think 30 yards is about the max before we really start seeing some opening up here. But definitely still usable, but not necessarily the best we've ever seen. Alright, so here's our 40-yard paper here, and we definitely started to open up quite a bit. As you can see, we've only got 29 in our 10-inch circle there, and 118 in our 30, which seems like decent numbers, but when you look at it, there's definitely a lot of areas, especially on this side of the pattern, where something like a dove or potentially even a squirrel or something like that could scoot through. I still don't think it's anything too terrible necessarily for a small game load anyway, but definitely if you're thinking about wings shooting with it or skeet shooting out at those mid-range or longer range distances, I don't necessarily think this is the best option so far for you. It'll definitely do the job on small game or just a cheap load. Granted, it is a couple more dollars than something like a Federal shell would be on the shelf, being about $15 I think versus like $12, but it's definitely still usable, although not the greatest that we've ever seen. It's fine for small game, but I don't know that I would choose this load necessarily for wing shooting unless you're in an area where you need some sort of environmentally safe round. I mean, they are lead, but they have that environmental safe degradable wad, which is really interesting. But I don't know that these are the best for wing shooting, but will definitely do the job on some squirrels and rabbits and so on. All right, and this is our wad here. I know it's kind of hard to see with the shadows, but this is the one, unfortunately, that smacked the board. I couldn't find any of the other ones. So it is a little bit smashed, but it feels just like plastic. There's nothing special about it other than it's like a purpley red color, which is the first time I think I've seen a wad in that kind of a color. But overall, nothing special about it. It's supposedly biodegradable, but it feels just like plastic. So definitely something interesting here. All right, y'all, well, what did you think about it? I definitely think it's just pretty much your typical 7-shot small game load. There doesn't really seem to be anything too impressive about it, but it doesn't seem to be too terrible either. But as for a small game load like squirrel or rabbit or something like that, that'll absolutely do the job for you. Plus, we saw more than advertised box velocity, but at least it's nice to see performance that at least is what is posted on the box. A lot of ammo companies post a number on the box that most of us will never see. But what did y'all think about them? Are they anything special, or are you sticking with your typical run-of-the-mill Winchesters or Federals or anything like that? But either way, the wind's starting to pick up out here, as you can probably see. I was hoping to get a few more tests done today, but I don't know how we're going to work that out with the wind today. But either way, we've got a bunch more tests coming, so stay tuned on the channel for those. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.